Hello everyone, it's part 14 of The Land of Roar, and luckily for Arthur, Wyn and Rose, they have managed to get the lethal Lost Girls on side. However, a bit of bad news for Arthur. Him and Wyn have got to learn how to fly dragons. Wyn's pretty cool about it, he doesn't mind. He's like, yeah, can do this, I'm sure it's fine. However, Arthur's a bit more reluctant and a bit more apprehensive. I think we need to have a look and see how they get on. So, chapter 29. The dragons land in a tangle of wings and fire and rage, but Rose doesn't hesitate. She strides over, dodges round their lashing tails, and forces them apart by slapping at their snouts. "Bobad bow boys! Bobad bow boys!" she shouts, and then, when they're cowering by her feet, she beckons us over. "Here goes," says Wyn, thumping me on the arm. "Let's take these dragons to school." Then he frowns. What even is school? I'll tell you some other time. Rose passes me a handful of broken biscuits. "Give these to Vlad. You need to gain his trust by feeding him." "Vlad? Why can't we fly Pickle?" "Arthur, just because Vlad has got a scary name doesn't mean he's the scariest dragon." "Yeah, but he is, isn't he?" I eye Vlad's wide blue bulk. He seems much more sinister than rosy red Pickle. "Vlad's big bone, that's all," she says. "Now, get over there while he's still worn out from his fight." I take a deep breath, blow out nice and slow, then walk towards Vlad. He's hunkered down, licking a drop of black blood from a tear in his wing. His tongue is thick and grey and has fiery cracks running through it like molten magma. When he sees me stepping closer, his head rises, his lips pull back and his yellow eyes narrow to slits. "Here, Vlad," I say, my voice wobbling. "Come and get a biscuit." I reach out my hand and his mouth opens to reveal a set of large, needle-sharp teeth. Smoke begins to seep from his nostrils. "Careful, Arthur," says Rose as I hold out the biscuits. "You've got to put them right in his mouth. If you chuck them in, he'll know you're scared. Dragons don't respect you if they think you're scared of them." I put my hand up to protect my face from the heat that's radiating from Vlad an inch closer. He's getting impatient now, snapping hungrily around my hand, so I reach forward as far as I dare and drop the biscuits. They fall down his fiery gullet and he tosses his head back, gnashing his teeth enthusiastically. "Now's your chance," says Rose. "Get on his back. You too, Wyn." "How?" I circle Vlad's bulging body. "Climb him. Imagine he's one of those models at the Dino-tastic play park." Amazingly, Rose's shoddy advice works, and I'm able to scramble at Vlad's side by pretending he's made of fiberglass. I pull myself onto a sitting position by grabbing hold of one of the spikes that line his back. Immediately I shift from side to side. Vlad's scales are roasting. This is like sitting on the embers of a bonfire. I feel bones and muscles moving beneath Vlad's scaly skin, and he turns his head and glowers at me. I sit as still as possible until he looks away. Wyn pulls himself up behind me and settles down. "Right," he says, rubbing his hands together with enthusiasm, or possibly because he's just burnt them. "How do we fly this thing?" And that's when I realised we should have found this out before we climbed on Vlad's back. "Rose!" I shout. "Tell us what to do!" She cups her hands round her mouth and calls. "It's easy! Squeeze with your left knee to go left and your right knee to go right. And say, 'Rub eyes,' to make him go up." "Rub eyes," says Wyn. "No, rub eyes." "Rub eyes?" Wyn bellows, and instantly Vlad's crusty ears prick up and his immense wings expand. Before Wyn and I can even think of escaping, Vlad has heaved his body to standing and begun a lolloping jog across the dojo. The ground shakes and Wyn and I hold tight to the spikes. I bounce up and down with my bum slamming repeatedly into his rough, hot scales. "How do we get him to land?" I shout to Rose. She says something that might be dob-dob or hobnob, but I can't hear over Vlad's thudding wings. "Rose, what did you say?" But it's too late. Vlad has reached the edge of the dojo and is taking a clumsy leap. Just when I think we're going to crash into the trees, his wings thrust down and we rise up in the air. I slip to one side as I look over my shoulder. "Rose!" I yell. "We don't know what we're doing!" But she's not even looking in my direction. Instead, she's settled herself on the dojo, resting against Pickle. I think she might be sunbathing. Win leans forward. Arthur, we're flying a dragon! I swallow and nod and squeeze my legs around Vlad's fat body as we soar higher and higher and further away from Rose. Win laughs in delight. Ooh, doesn't it feel dangerous? Chapter 30. Make him go upside down, Arthur. No! I'm sitting with a straight back, my hands wrapped around the spike and my eyes fixed on the horizon. Wind whistles past my face as we rise up and down with each thrust of Vlad's wings. If I don't look down, I can almost pretend this is a computer game and nothing bad can possibly happen to me. Wind slaps his hands on my shoulders. Make him fly into a volcano! That would be incredible! As we fly over Raw, Win keeps making reckless suggestions and I keep ignoring them and I stick to going left and right. We glide over a lake, then I squeeze my left knee and we swing over a forest. I press my right knee and we're back over the lake. A red bird flies alongside us for a while until Vlad growls at it, smothering it in smoke. That's it, I say, patting Vlad's craggy scales. Ignore the bird and keep going, good boy. Mate, you've got left and right nailed, says Win. Try something else. The day after tomorrow we've got to fly into a narrow tunnel, but right now all we can do is go in circles. I'm going straight now, look. We've reached the bottomless ocean and are soaring across it, heading towards the horizon. Anyway, Rose's lesson was useless. Win leans forward and stares down at the sea. I guess she wasn't expecting Vlad to take off like that. I'm not in the mood to hear Win defend Rose. Win, by the time we left the ground, she was sunbathing. I can't believe she didn't come after us on Pickle. A few hours ago we saved her life, but now she sends us up into the sky on a dangerous beast without thinking about our safety. Rose doesn't care about anyone except herself. Win shakes his head. That's not true. Rose has always been there when we've needed her. Remember what happened at the crow's nest? You've not seen her at home, Win. Trust me, she's changed. We fly on in silence for a few minutes. Then Win says, I don't know about what Rose is like in home, but she's always looked out for you here. She must know you can handle this, otherwise she would have come after us. Win's words make me think up and sit up a little taller. Could he be right? Could Rose not be being by his side be a good thing, not a bad thing? Look, Arthur! Win points down to where a massive lump of rock rises out of the sea. Waves have hollowed out its middle, forming a narrow archway. That would be perfect tunnel flying practice. Don't you think it's a bit small? No? Well, yeah, but Mitch always went on about how small and narrow the sea cave was, so we should give it a go. Win's right. For the mission, for saving Grandad, we should give it a go. Only I'm frightened of doing anything that could make us fall off Vlad's back. No, not frightened. Petrified. The idea of tumbling through the sky makes me feel helpless and sick, like I'm already falling. We're closer to the rock now, and I can see waves being sucked into the archway. If Vlad is going to fit through there, we'll have to go fast and at an angle. All we've got to hold on to are spikes, and right now my spike is slippery with sweat. I shake my head. Sorry, Win, it's too dangerous. He gives a cry of exasperation. Mate! You're Arthur Trout, master of Raw. How can you fight Croaky if you're scared of flying through a hole? Win's words burn into me. They make me stare straight ahead, heart thumping, cheeks flushed. Not because I'm angry, but because I know he's right. If I'm ever going to see Grandad again, I need to stop thinking about all the ways I could slip, fall or tumble and start to believe I can do this. On my own. I came to Raw, didn't I? I climbed down to that bridge to get to Rose, and right now I'm sitting on a dragon. I don't take my eyes off the rocky archway as Vlad's heat rises up through me. What was Rose shouting when we took off? It sounded like gobbledygook. No, not gobbledygook. Obby Dobby. Obby Dobby was a made-up language that Grandad taught me and Rose. Only I never got it as well as them, and they used to drive me mad chatting away in it. Rose told us to say "rabis" to make Vlad take off, which is the word rise with ob stuck in the middle of it. Could Obby Dobby be Rose's mysterious dragon language? There's one way to find out. I lean close to Vlad's ear and yell, "Dobown!" Instantly, Vlad's head drops and he dives towards the sea. My stomach drops too as cold air races past us. We're flung back. Yes! Screams Win. I keep my eyes open, forcing myself to watch, and just before Vlad's snout touches a wave, I shout, "Globoid!" He rears up, and next thing I know, we're coasting smoothly over the bottomless ocean. I'm half blinded by sea spray and smoke, but I can just see the archway rising up out of the sea. I glance at Vlad's outspread wings. Can they possibly fit through the gap? Oh gosh, I don't know, Arthur. I don't know. I nudge him to the left and then a little bit further until he's flying at an angle. Win and I lean as far as we can, our knees pressed into Vlad's scaly sides. Do you reckon we're going to make it? Win's voice sounds strangely scared. Definitely, I say. Then I fix my eyes on the gap as Vlad speeds up. We shoot into the archway and I'm blinded by smoke. Win screams, "Ah!" The dragon growls, then I see blue sky and realise I'm breathing fresh air. I did it. I flew Vlad through the archway and we survived. Hear me roar! I cry, punching my fist in the air. Vlad breathes out a triumphant blaze of fire and his wings pound down, lifting us back up. While Win laughs hysterically, I wipe the sea spray from my face and stare at the bottomless ocean. "Back Tubbo Rose!" I command, and Vlad bellows his approval as he turns and heads for land. It's a beautiful journey across Roar. The sun is setting, creating a glittering path on the sea for Vlad to follow. I can see the archipelago and the tangled forest is in front of us, a vast expanse of shifting, swaying trees. Just when I'm thinking how wonderful it is to be here, flying over Roar and not feeling scared, I spot something ahead. It looks like a swirling black cloud, which is strange because we're in the good side and there isn't another cloud in sight. "What's that?" I point out to Win. "I dunno, it looks like birds." He's right. As Vlad flies closer, I see that it isn't one thing, a cloud, but actually lots of birds. Crows, huddled together and flying as one. They swoop up in the sky, turn, then pour in our direction. "Fobastoba!" I shout. "Fobastoba!" Vlad dives down, but so do the birds until they're surrounding us. A mass of black squawking feathers and pecking beaks, driving the dragon wild. I cover my face with one arm and lash out with the other. The birds are small, but there are so many of them I can't stop their claws and beaks from scratching and pecking at my skin. Soon Vlad's had enough. He whips his head round, breathes out a jet of fire and sends the birds fluttering in all directions, smoke drifting from their singed wings. "What was that all about?" I say, brushing away feathers and licking the blood from a deep scratch on my hand. Wind sweeps a pile of feathers off Vlad's back. "Spies of crokies, I reckon. I've seen them around before, swooping over the forest and following me on my bike." Then I notice something on my lap. At first, I haven't got a clue what it is until I pick it up. It's a plastic carrot with a smiley face. Dangling from the carrot are 2 keys. I curl my fist around Grandad's allotment keyring. "Those crows weren't spies," I say. "They were messengers."